Yeah? Alright. Okay, but nice, sorry, okay, it's my fault, sorry.
It's super hot. How old are you?
26. And what? Morning, it is 4:30 in the morning, so super early, and we are heading to the Angkor temples today. Arriving at the complex, you will be directed to a huge ticket area with queues for 1 day, 3 day or 7 day passes. We opted for a day ticket which cost $37 per person. 5 years ago you may have arrived to the complex with no one there, but unfortunately if you're going for sunrise, expect people to be there with you. Now a little bit later and the sun has now risen to show us this beautiful landscape. So far so good. We sat outside just so that it wasn't so crowded, although we did have loads of women chatting around us, so it wasn't again the most serene experience. How hot is it?
It's very hot, sweaty, especially when those people don't know what personal space is. Just stand like this right next to you, and then in your ear go.
So like any other temple in Southeast Asia, make sure you're covered up. We did see some people arrive without covered up.
They're not covered up, they're in short shorts, their arses were hanging out.
We haven't seen any of them in the temple, so I don't know whether or not they got turned away or they've been asked to wrap up.
But there isn't anywhere to
Yeah, we didn't see anywhere where you could like buy or rent any of the clothes. But just use your common sense. If you're in a place of worship, cover up a little bit.
So this is our second temple of the day. It's about 9 AM and it is becoming very hot already. It's meant to be 37 today. Maybe
No, 38.
38 today, feels like 6 million.
So like we said, currently it's 9 AM, it's 30 degrees already, feels like 34, and later today, like I said, 38 degrees.
Love that.
attempting the rubbish stairs. Oh, you done it? Okay.
I think they both have like the good points. I think Angkor Wat is just big, isn't it? It's just grand.
Yeah.
It's got, like,
I'm gonna give an unpopular opinion. Got there in the end. I wasn't a fan. I thought it was a bit overrated, to be honest.
I think waiting and watching the sunrise over the water was nice.
It was nice, yeah.
But like getting in there, it was just busy. Yeah, I mean this one's busy too, don't get me wrong, but it's quieter, and this has like lots of carvings, and it is all falling apart, but it's got like big faces carved into the towers, which we'll add in and you'll see. But even though there's a lot of rubble, it feels more like a temple. It feels older.
Yeah.
You know. And they said it's falling apart because they use like cheap sandstone, so that, I guess they just use better materials at Angkor Wat. But so far this one's better. We've only got one more temple on the tour today, and that's the Tomb Raider one, so we'll see how that goes. So we have stopped with our tour group at what is like a giant family restaurant. There's one thing we don't really like about the tours is eating with them. So like the prices are $2 if not more expensive than you'd get anywhere in town. Even like the food comes really slow, so Rosie and I were like, we're not going to buy food here. I'll get a pineapple juice for Rosie and I'll get an iced coffee. I've been waiting about, what, 20 minutes for that coffee to come still. So it's just super slow. And then it just eats into the time of your tour, you know. So like we've got a big group of us that are all going to be eating, so by the time they get their food, drinks, paid, I think it's going to be like an hour lost to the day. Tomb Raider. Instagram versus reality moment here.
Queuing.
Queuing for a tree pick. So when you think about Cambodia, you think about Angkor Wat and all the temples, and this complex is giant. The whole thing was like 4,000, I think it said, square kilometres. But we were wondering why, because we went to the killing fields and learned about in the 70s the Pol Pot regime, and he wanted to wipe religion out. And we just asked our guide, I said, well, why have he not knocked down all these temples? Because surely if you were a dictator and you wanted to wipe clean out of all the religion, you'd do that. But apparently it's because they use all of these temples as military bases, and then all the monasteries they knocked down so the monks didn't have anywhere, but the temples themselves were reinforced and used as military bases. Facts. Well, this is the Tomb Raider temple. It's called Taprom, and he's the god of creation. So yeah, it's a lot of rubble everywhere, and the big trees growing through that they've got to prop up. But It's the best one yet, I think, so
Yeah,
far.
yeah. It feels a lot more adventurous and kind of...
You weave in and out of buildings
And I think obviously the nature helps it. Like
Yeah.
with the trees being stuck in between the temples. Yeah, come to this one. So what's really bizarre about some of these temples, some of them are really, really hot and steamy. And then some of them, like this one, nice and cool. So it's a good little respite from the heat. 38 degrees, shall I remind you? So we're at temple number 4 now. This one's a lot quieter because I think it's less touristy. I mean, I haven't heard of it previously, but this one's really, really nice. It's really quiet, and I think that is because no one's here.
This one's quite old as well. This one's like the same kind of time as Angkor Wat city was being built, so it is quite, it's still like ruins, but there's a lot of it, which is really nice, and some really nice like detailed areas and carvings in walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I've got to say on a level though, I mean this last temple's been really good, but I've been a bit underwhelmed. So I don't know if it's the hype. It's obviously you go to Cambodia, everyone's like, it's Angkor Wat, that's the place to be, isn't it? But
I definitely think it's the hype that like makes it.
I think we've seen some beautiful little like tucked away temples that you don't need like this giant complex to make it feel like it feels a bit hollow. Just empty, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then that might be because we're going to more touristy ones. If we went to ones that are like less kind of looked after, it might feel a little bit more like...
Our guide did say they don't actually restore the ones people don't go to, because obviously Angkor Wat is what brings the money in. So, I mean, if we did go to a non-touristy one, it might just be rubble, you know?
Yeah.
And falling apart, but
then that might give that, you know, more of an effect that it is old and it's ancient, it's sacred, you know, all of that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think taking this tour, it was convenient for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not been great. The guide himself is lovely and he's very, very informative. Yeah. But the stop at the grotty food place and waiting almost like half an hour for a coffee to get the wrong one, to then pay like $3.50 for 2 drinks, which is extortionate. Well,
I didn't really want to have a tour, but the main thing for us was that we had a driver that could get us to the places. It would have been a lot nicer if we was to get a driver that spoke English, could drive us everywhere where we picked we wanted to go for the times that we wanted to go. But again,
we just left it a bit late as well.
But it's difficult to find a driver that does that without it being a tour. So,
yeah, and like the ones on the street, like the tuk-tuks, they all offer it, but at the same time you don't want to just hire a driver. You also want someone that's like a tour guide to give you the information. You don't want to just walk around without any information.
Yeah.
Because we've done that in a couple of museums and it's not that great. So if you're coming somewhere like this, and like, don't forget you're paying $37 each to get in, so you want some history with it. It's not cheap. So
definitely not cheap.
No.
Reflecting back, we most definitely would have bought the 3-day ticket to allow us to explore more than what the normal Joe would find. But regardless, we had a really good time.